Big G.
What's happening, baby?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing as good can be right now.
Another day, another dollar spent.
Oh, we don't even want to go there about a dollar spent.
Hey, all right. Welcome to Relationship Talk with Juanito. I am Coach Juan Robinson, and today I'm with
Big G, baby,
Big G. How you been, man?
surviving, man, surviving. Just taking one day at a time.
Yeah, I heard you had yourself a little bit of a rough day.
Yeah, man. It seems like when you pay your car off, that's when everything start happening.
Hey, listen, man. I swear that's how they do it. They set you up that way, man.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like as soon as you make a move, hey, the wheels start falling off, your engines start busting down.
Boy.
It was like that. I had what was that? That was a 2017 Hyundai Elantra, and I had that
Oh,
joke. I had that joker paid off in 2 years,
yeah.
and I swear, as soon as I had that joker paid off, that's when somebody want to hit my car. That's when
Always.
I get full flat tires or something crazy like that. So I end up getting rid of it. I mean, I got full value for it, but
Yeah.
yeah, I end up trading that joker in.
Oh man.
Yeah, so I got us a couple topics today, a couple videos for us to check out.
Yes,
Give
indeed.
me give me 1 second. I'm trying to push this out real fast so we can jump right into it. My computer don't be wanting to work when I need it to.
Hey, always happen like that. Always.
All right. So let me share my screen and all right.
Unpopular opinion. If that man has tried to correct you and or teach you anything, he absolutely loves you. And before you reject what I'm saying, I want you to consider this. Both men and women see the world very differently. That's why we complement each other so well whenever we get together. Women think a lot more emotionally. Men think more logically. So whenever he's trying to show you a different way of being or teach you a different way to do something, he's trying to show you the world through his eyes, how he sees things. And that's a very beautiful thing because he loves you. He feels like he's responsible for you whenever y'all are not together. Even in those moments, he still has to protect you. So he got to make sure that you have situational awareness and that you paying attention whenever you by yourself, because we start taking a good man for granted whenever we with them all the time because we don't pay attention to things that's going on around us. So he's still trying to make sure that you're good whenever he's not with you. Therefore, he may correct you at certain times. And a man that loves you is going to tell you the truth because he wants the best version of you. He wants you to be the best you that you could possibly be as well. Therefore, his correction is for your protection.
Hey, can't say it no better than that.
I agree. But here's the question that I want to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that in today's society that is for the younger generation, obviously as women, a good majority of women mature, they learn these things. But why do you think the younger generation of women have a harder time grasping that concept or fighting against that concept?
It's the latter, fighting against that concept. Um, how, like just like she started hers, unpopular opinion. Uh, it's due to the single mother home. Um, when the single mother is is in charge of the home, they tend to project. They tend to project how they want their daughters to be and how they want a man in their life to be. So they project the strength into their daughter. You don't need a man. No man's gonna tell you what to do. You strong. Blah 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 blah. And they baby the boys because they in subconsciously, not knowingly, and sometimes knowingly, they tend to want the male to be a soft, more decent, more lower masculine man. So that's why they coddle, they spoil, um, all of the things they're doing to say they're protecting their son, but they are not. They're putting and I don't want to say the feminine aspect on the son, but they're basically desensitizing the masculinity in the son and transferring that to the daughter.
So I'm trying to understand what you're saying. So are you saying that for the younger generation, i.e., what we would probably perceive as 20-year-olds through 30-year-olds, maybe 35-year-olds, are
Mhm.
you saying that they're they can't grasp that concept due to their mothers, how their mothers raised them?
Yes, in layman's term, it's the single mother home, and they know they're gonna cut this one up, but just listen me out. In the single mother home, because the mother is the one doing the raising. If she, and just say for instance, she have two children, one boy, one girl. All right, she's going to instill into that daughter this sense of hope. I mean, of strength. You can do it on your own. You don't need a man, and that in turns goes into the fact that when their daughter grows up and they meet a man, and the man is trying to correct them, that is trying to exert his leadership qualities, there's pushback because their whole life they've been told from their single mother that they're strong, that they don't need a man, men are no good. You get all these brainwashing words in the woman. Then when you switch it over to the man, the boy child, he don't get that kind of uplifting in his masculinity. Ooh, that's my baby. Don't hurt my baby. Oh, everything's gonna be all right. Mama's here. I'm gonna protect you. You just gotta be quiet. You know what I'm saying? And so he picks up off all this heightened emotional energy to where he's not getting that masculinity or even the masculinity that he always possessed is being desensitized. It's being lowered because mom is there coddling him.
Okay. So I- I have a different opinion, but my opinion is not too far from yours,
Hmm.
but I think my opinion is the other side of the coin.
Gotcha.
Um, while what you're saying can absolutely be true, I think that in certain instances that the father not being there, whether it's by choice, which in some cases you and I know that that is the case, or if it's not of his choice, and then he chooses not to interact or be a part of his children's life,
Hmm.
then both the boy and the girl miss out on key aspects of what that father brings to their life and to the necessary things that they need for their growth and development into young adults. And I'll give you an example. What you said about the mother doing for the son, babying him and stuff like that. My wife does that to my son all the time. She's the nurturer. She's the one that when I go in with the sharp discipline, he goes running to because daddy was being mean or daddy yelled or daddy made him feel upset. And she does what majority of mothers do. She holds them, oh, it'll be okay. And not to say that that's right, because there is a certain level of you as a mother have to let him sit in whatever it is that he just went through.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't always coddle him or can't always be there for him, because when he becomes a man and he becomes an adult, you're not always going to be there for him. But in certain situations, it is necessary. That's why I say I do agree with you. But the flip side of that is that discipline, that structure, that I ain't playing no games with you is also necessary. So if the father is not there, then it leaves a vacancy for that to be filled by either society or another male figure that shows up in their life. And it's not always a family member. It could be someone at school that is not even qualified to be a male figure or a male role model, but it's just someone that they look up to. Now, on the girl side, that also shows up equally, right? Because girls, although we're both fathers of girls, and both of our girls are, young adults now, there's still that discipline that you have to even show them, even though it's harder to show them because you want to baby your girl, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't want to be too hard on them, but you also know that out of that hardness that you have to be on them gives them some sort of structure, some sort of discipline, some sort of understanding of male, that if you do it right, that a man saying no or a man providing giving you some sort of instruction is for your best interest.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that if I had to put a percentage on it, I would say why the younger generation of women can't grasp this concept is 60-40, maybe 55-45 on dad not being there.
Ooh.
Or in some cases, dad not being there, or dad being there, but dad not being, I can't say qualified, but dad not understanding his role as a father.
I hear you, but here's the Uno reverse card. Now, when the roles are different and it's a single father, evidence shows that young ladies and young men do better. They do better in life. They do better understanding. You have young ladies who I ain't gonna say understand their position, but they tend to be more cooperable, and that's just the father raising the kids. So we can't say, we can't, on an individualized basis, that's how I would do it. But what we see is when the young ladies are raised by their mothers, there is kind of almost of a indoctrination of, you don't need a man. And that in return sets up the situation of when a man tries to correct a woman, and that can be the woman that he loves, and she says she loves him. But because she was told by women that she don't need a man, she's stronger than a man, she can do anything a man does, that's when you get that outcome. Now, when the single mother is when they're raised by, and those things are not embedded, and she has that father who is in her life, and she's spending just as much time with her father that she's spending with her mother, you don't see that. So the difference is the mother who's saying that and the mother who's not. Because the children are going to spend more time with mom, even in a marriage, because dad is out working. Even in a marriage, even in the nuclear family, two-parent household, the children tend to spend more time with the mother. She tends to have more direct influence than the father in any scenario. So
that is, hold on. I can't let you slide on that one, player. That is not necessarily true. And here's why I say that.
Mhm.
Because at a certain point, you may be right up to a point. From the ages of birth to 5, you're spot on.
Mhm.
After that, majority of their time is spent in school. And then it's almost 50-50. Yeah, it is. Yes, it is. Because most
Let's break this
people,
down.
hold
Let's
on,
break this down.
hold on. I let you talk. Let me finish. Because most schools, like my son is, he just turned 6.
Mhm.
He's out of the house at 6:15 in the morning.
Mhm.
I pick him up. The bus drops him off in front of the house at 3:30.
Mhm.
Now him and I leave to go to work right before he goes to school, but I'm first here to pick him up. Now,
Mhm.
obviously, but the point that I'm making is that he gets home at 3:30.
Mhm.
Most people are working 7:30 to 4:30, 8:30, 8 to 5, 8:30 to 5:30, 9 to 6.
Mhm.
Some around those time frames. Most people are working, both parents are working.
Mhm.
And so that means the school got them from early in the morning to
Mhm.
mid-afternoon. So then
Mhm.
one parent has them for maybe 1 hour, 2 hours more than the other parent.
Mhm.
And then that child really only got 4 to 5 hours where he's awake before he or she got to go to school again. So that's
Mhm.
3 hours to 2 hours. And that's Monday
Mhm.
through Friday. So
Mhm.
you add it up, let's see, that's 15 hours to 10 hours. It ain't that much of a difference. And then on the weekend,
No.
everybody got them.
All right, that's from your standpoint, from your view. Even until now, there are still, because the divorce rate is high, the couple family is still together. Okay, by a very slim margin, with divorce hitting the upper 40% now, but you still have more than over 50% of Americans who are still couples. Of that 50%, about, I want to say 30 to 40 something percent, the dynamic is still man does most of the, you know what I'm saying, work outside, woman does majority of the work inside. All right. So by sheer numbers alone, we're seeing how I described it. The child is spending more time. Normally, the mother gets the child ready for school. Boom, the mother's there when the school nurses call. Mother's there. Something happens at the school. Mother's there. After school, normally, because picking up, you see more mothers in the parking lot picking up than dad. Why? Because dad is at work. You are the outlier. I was the outlier because
I'm not talking specifically for my situation, but you're right. You're right. You're spot on. When I have to pick up my son at school, majority of the time it's mothers. But what I'm saying is even if mothers are picking their sons up or their daughters up at 3:30, whatever that time frame is for them.
Mm-hmm.
Dad is coming home at about 4:30, 5 o'clock ish, depending on what your work schedule look like. Unless you got one of those jobs that, you work in 10, 12, 14 hours.
And that's and right there, that's majority of the men. We work in a office type concept. The average man doesn't do that. The average man works a more rigorous job and rigorous time schedule. You have your oilmen, you have your electricians, you have your automotives, these are heavily dominated. You have your construction work. These are the men that's there. So their schedule is more than the 8-hour schedule. In that aspect, we are the outliers with our administrative work. So that's what majority. I'm not, and I'm not speaking on, what I'm saying, the outlaws, but I'm saying majority of the men works. So that entails leaves majority of the children to have more influence by the mother. And that's just the numbers state that, because you have more men in these blue collar fields who work these, and that's, and still to this day at the top of the reason why divorce rate is high is I think it's the top 4 or 5. It's because the man works too much. And so when you got majority of men in these fields, that's what's going to happen.
While you talking, I'm gonna look it up.
Look it up. GTS. Google that shit.
Now continue talking. I'm gonna look it up.
But majority of the men do work in blue collar fields where their average day does not. Because you take Southwest, you know what I'm saying? They're mainly their economic thing is construction and oil field work and all this other little stuff. So their days are long. Then you have these men who are over the road truck driver who are gone for days at a time. Then you have these electricians. Then you have these men who own these automotive shops where they have to be there, and the automotive shop don't close at 6 to 6:30 or 7 o'clock. These men are located. The construction workers who working on the highway building these houses, they don't stop at 4 o'clock.
I mean, they do here in Texas. Like, hey, look, because I can tell you because I live in a relatively new neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
And I get, like I said, I get home around 3:30. Well, three in between 3 and 3:15. Hey, these jokers be packing up they be packing up their trucks, get ready to get out of here.
Well, that heat do affect them a little different down there.
All right, so top 5 reasons: lack of commitment,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't understand that. That doesn't really make sense to me. Lack of commitment being number one.
Mm-hmm.
Infidelity and extramarital affairs number two. Too much conflict, arguing is number three. Number four is marrying too young. And number five, financial problems or financial stress.
Okay.
With 75% citing lack of commitment as the number one reason, and
Yeah.
36.7% being financial problems.
Mm-hmm.
So you're right. I'll give you that. You know how much I hate giving you that. No, you're right. So a lot of men do work jobs that are more than our 8 to 9 hour jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore the mothers do spend more time with the children. And then at the same time, when you come home, you need time to decompress and all of that. But I will say that and I don't think you would argue against this, that nowadays the mothers are working longer hours as well. And now you have more like grandmas and babysitters and neighbors
Yeah.
coming to pick up their kids.
Yeah.
And
And
so,
that's even worse. That's even worse.
yeah. And so, but I think the one aspect that we haven't talked about yet is the societal aspect of it.
Mm.
Because a lot of these the younger generation are growing up on TikTok.
Yeah.
And TikTok is essentially where and I know a while back we had this conversation, and I know you said you don't believe in the gender war, but there are people who do believe in it.
Yeah.
TikTok is where that came from, or where it started. And so, a lot of the younger generation are being influenced by the things that they're seeing on TikTok.
Yeah.
And so that's also creeping into their minds as well, and um influencing them to believe a certain way. And there was something else that you said that I wanted to touch on, but I forgot what it was. It was that, man, it'll come back to me.
Gotta get you some magnesium, baby.
No, it'll come back to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think that men men are in this weird spot right now where it's because of like things that are going on in the world, you know, the files, it's painting it's painting men overall in a bad light.
Yes.
And even if we wanted to step in and be mentors to young men and to be mentors to young women and show them how men are supposed to show up in this world and how you can look at a man and respect what he says and the authority that he operates within, because he's speaking from a place of knowledge and he's speaking from a place that he wants your best. He has your best interest in heart. Because of how things are nowadays, it's hard for us not only to be respected in that way, but to also be trusted.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just call a spade a spade. And I ain't afraid to say it because I don't really care like that. It's a bunch of these white dudes out here that's making all of us look bad. And I'm just saying.
Now we could say that.
Or let me rephrase that. Old white man.
Now that's old rich white man.
That too.
Yeah. But I was doing a little research. I'm saying I go down rabbit holes in YouTube because I be trying to find out things. And what I've learned is that there are certain things in their culture that has always been a part of their culture. When people try to say that white people don't have any culture, that is a lie. Their culture starts back in the early pre-thousands, before they ran into the Persians, the Far East Indians down in Africa. They was congregated together. And what did they all do? They fought. The Germans didn't like the Italians. The Italians didn't like the Spaniards. They didn't like the English, the Belgians, the Scandinavians, the Vikings. They all warred amongst each other. So if violence and war is all they did, that's a part of their culture. You know what else is a part of their culture? Rich, powerful white men in that culture back in their days, what would they do? They would get young boys and young girls. The Greeks, the Romans, the Spaniards, they would take young boys as concubines.
Hey, listen. That's not the topic.
I know, but I'm just saying.
You going down a rabbit hole.
I told you I'd be going.
You going down?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But you started it though.
Listen. Okay, my bad.
They making us look bad. You started, but let's bring it back on topic. But with men, we got to understand that we are designed physically and mentally. When I mean by mentally, because we are giving the skill of not letting our emotions overcloud our logic. That's why we are able to handle more, because you have to be mentally strong to be physically strong. All right. what has happened is that feminism has said, hey, you can be just like a man, which is totally false. In no aspect that you could be just like a man. And in no aspect that a man can be anywhere close to you as a female. But with that feminism, it ushered in a wave of thinking for our young ladies. And they ran with it. That thinking is, I don't have to listen, I am going to compete. And with anything, you're going to have, once again, I always speak about the outliers. Yes, you're going to have outliers in any situation. But competing with a man is kind of far in between too. You know, you can't compete with him physically. And in the area where you feel like you can compete, because a man can bring and that's is it with knowledge. A man has the secret weapon. He can introduce physicality to aid where his knowledge might be a shortcoming. So that is really the issue. Our young ladies today are so held on competing and being just like a man, is that they're not being who they're supposed to be.
I mean, I can't necessarily argue with that, but a part of me wants to say that that ain't their fault. It's kind of what they were born into. Because, you know, as you and I know, feminism started back in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And where you really started to see the shift was in the 90s.
Yes.
And most of these young bucks wasn't even born in the 90s, or they was born in the late 90s. So, and by the time they got old enough to understand really what was going on, it was already being pushed on them.
Yeah.
And so I can't necessarily blame them for that. You know, it's just how things ended up. But there is no competing. And I'll give you a perfect example of why there's no competing. My wife, when my son piss her off, she get to yelling. Right? Because 9 out of 10 times she'd have told him something like 19,000 times, and he ain't listened 19,000 times. So she get upset and frustrated, and she get to the point where it's like, all right, sit your ass down somewhere. But as many times as she has yelled and gotten frustrated with him or whatever, you know what? When that don't work, I'm gonna call you daddy. I ain't even got to be at the house.
I'm gonna call you daddy.
I'm gonna call you daddy, and he instantly fix himself, or he's like, no, please don't call daddy, please don't call daddy, because he already know. And I don't yell to the same level as she does, but when I have to deal with him, it's there's that there's that male energy that exists between us where he recognizes that dad is alpha.
Mm-hmm.
And I fall underneath the alpha. it just exists there, right? And any father that is active in his children's life knows exactly what I'm talking about. You
Yeah.
know, when you're oh, I remember now what I wanted to tell you. The most important time for a father to be in their children's life is from the ages of 10 to 18.
Before you continue, I gave you a scenario about that last week. I just want
Yeah,
to throw that in.
I know, but this goes back to what we were talking about, because you know we were talking about the importance of the
Yeah.
mother and the father.
Yeah.
The father is most important from the ages of 10 to 18. Why? Because that's when he has the most influence in the direction that they're going to go in their own individual lives. And so when a divorce happens or a separation happens, and the children, if the children goes, because you were talking about how um fathers, the kids are better off when they're left with the fathers versus being a single father versus being with a single mother. And I thought about this most of the time, that when a father or a father becomes a single father, it's usually in that age range between 10 to 18, which is already the time frame where he is the most influential in that child's life. So it's by default that they're likely going to be better off, because those are already the most influential times for the father in that child's life. Whereas the mother kind of loses a little bit of grip on the child during that time frame. Why? Because the child starts to develop his own personality, or really hone in on his personality, and then he starts to develop life skills, and um starts to see the world through his own eyes, and he can make his or her own decisions. Even though there's still certain boundaries that they have to operate within, those boundaries get more extended. A perfect example: my son is now 16. He is now eligible to drive. He now can work. So guess what? His boundaries get extended further, right? Because now he gets to make a little bit more of his own decisions, and have to then deal with the consequences of those decisions, right? But it's also equally equally more important for me to be harder and more influential in his life at that point in time. So that was what I wanted to. That was the part that I wanted to remember to tell you, because I think
Got it.
that's a key part that oftentimes gets left out of that conversation, right? Because
Yeah.
we hear the statistic get thrown around that, yeah, children that go with that have or with a single father are better off than they are with single mothers, but they leave out that part about the reason why that is because a father's influence is more important during that age range than any other time.
Mm-hmm.
Because when they born up until they turn about 9, 10, 11, 12, it's a whole bunch of goofy shit going on. They running around the house, doing childish things. But
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
at 13, 14, then you start, getting a little bit of pubic hair. You start getting a little hair on your face, and you start getting a little bit of wanting a girlfriend or a boyfriend or something like that. What?
That boy said male public house.
But am I lying, though?
You not lying. You not lying.
I'm not lying, though. And so You know, now those hormones start to kick in, that testosterone start to kick in, you know, and then that's when, you know, especially for the women, the they start to look at you as the example of what a male is. You know, when before that, it's just princess and her father. I almost said princess and the frog. Well, princess and her father. But then at 13, 14, she starts to become a young lady, and then it becomes dad and father. And then, you know, as she starts to get older, you know, what the foundation that you have set is going to be what she looks at men through, that lens that she looks at men through.
Yeah.
All right. So
You're totally right.
we good on this topic?
Hey, we good, baby.
All right. So I got one more I want to throw at you. You ready?
Let's go.
And shout out to the men and women of tonight's conversation for blessing us with this video.
Push your partner into somebody else's arms.
And you're absolutely right. And too commonly, the mature thing to do is get your black ass up and find another relationship instead of sitting here with me and gaslighting me and telling me that I didn't do enough and that I need to do more. You should have took your the first time I didn't suck your enough, the first time I didn't say you that, the first time I didn't give you your way, the first time you didn't understand what I was saying. You should have went and spin the block and stayed your over there.
I'm not saying stay there. What I'm saying is, just because that person cheated, it doesn't invalidate the negligence that you gave them. It doesn't invalidate your not wanting to have sex with what you advertised pre-relationship. It doesn't goddamn invalidate you not giving that man a space to communicate without you interrupting and jumping in and getting defensive and not letting him finish sentences. It doesn't invalidate that, right? So we can't cut it off at the cheating. We got to take the gain from it that we can take from it. And sometimes your wasn't doing what you were supposed to do, and that pushed me into somebody else's arms. And until we can be grown enough to accept that, our solutions are going to repeat themselves.
Hold on. No,
Here come Big Pimp.
Hold on.
That's the reality.
All right, so I gotta disagree with you, Trill. A man's first chamber, before he can even get into a position where he can have an emotional connection or step out with somebody else, is he a master of his own mind. I'm in a room full of beautiful women every single city we go to, and my wife is somewhere in here right now. I know y'all beautiful. I don't want y'all, because I did the work to be able to disconnect physical attraction from I wonder what that would be like. And I wonder what that would be like turning into sliding in a DM or approaching a woman that I know is not mine. If a man has not done that work, he's going to be susceptible to cheating every single time he walk out that house. So we could say all day that she did this and she did that. If he a master of his mind, he's not even going to be in a position with a woman that's going to do some of those things that you just talked about.
One more thing, briefly, to the ladies. When he said that sometimes people can be pushed to cheating, whether I agree with what you said or not, it was just from the ladies, it was a real lack of understanding. And it's ironic, ladies, because when y'all cheat, it's always the fault. It's always what he didn't do, how he did provide security, how he did this first. It's just ironic. So if a woman can't be a reason a man cheat, then a man can't be a reason a woman cheat. Deal?
I ain't gonna lie. Ace got him at the end.
Yeah. Now that's the only time you ever hear me agree with Ace, because I don't really agree with Ace. But I'll fall back off my comment that I was finna say on this, man. That's why you watch to the very end, guys. You never.
That's what you was gonna say?
No. I was
I want to hear your comment, man. Go ahead, let it spray.
No, it's with the first guy. Yes, I honestly believe you can be pushed. Um, it seems like, and then when the second guy stepped up and talking about the master of his mind, all that is telling, hey man, men, you have to capitulate again. You have to cut your wants and your needs down to put hers in front of yours. And that's all that is. That's when they talk like that, that you telling the man, hey, don't worry about her not letting you finish a sentence. Cause that's what women do. They overtalk you, they yell, they scream. Don't worry about not, you know what I'm saying, getting none on the regular, because that's what women do. At some point in time, they're gonna deny you access to them because of anything. Don't worry about it. Put your feelings on the back burner. You just have to be there to support them. Don't worry about it. She don't want to be, she don't want to listen to you. She just wants to do, don't worry about it, man. That's what women do. When you do see that, but there's never a conversation, don't worry about it, lady. That's what men do. They don't do that. So men, we have to always be the ones that's uncomfortable. My needs has to be subservient to your needs. And sometimes a man get fed up about that. And when I try to address that with you, you tell me that my thoughts and concerns are invalid. So when all of that happens, and then I go and meet somebody that's going to actually listen to me and actually put my thoughts and concerns ahead of theirs, or at the most the same as theirs, it might happen. Something might happen. But there's always a cause and effect, even from the man's standpoint. You just can't jump to the effect or the ending. There's always a setup.
Now, I completely understand where you're going with that, because when I first watched it, I was like, oh man, here go this dude, play pandering to the crowd. But then I went back and I listened to it a second time,
Yeah.
and I think that the part that most people missed, including the women that was in the crowd, was what he said at the end. He took a very long route to get to where the point he was trying to make, because what he said at the end was, a man that is, I'm paraphrasing here, a man that's about his business is not going to be in that position. A man that is got himself together, he's not going to allow himself to be in that position. And I understand. Yeah, he said it was like a short blurb that he said, that if you weren't listening, if you got caught up on what he was saying, you missed it. Because he took a long route to get there.
But that's what I'm saying. I caught it, but what they mean by get yourself together is you have to control your desires.
No. That's not what he was saying. What he was saying, if you have yourself together, you're not going to get with a woman that operates like that.
But that's what I'm saying. One, they all operate like that. They probably don't, just like it took him forever to get to that point. Yeah, if you meet her at 25 or 26, the first couple of years, yeah, you good. But 36 come, it's going to happen. It always happens.
Yeah. And we had this discussion as to why. The reason. No, hold on. You can't discount. You can't discount a woman's hormonal changes in her body. You have
we have changes, but we can't convert to our changes. We have to. I want to wake up and not go to work in the morning.
What
Get the point of
the Listen, hold on. That is not the same thing. It is
Yes,
not.
it is.
Because you have control over that. You have control over that. They don't. Because God made them that way. Because I you know what? I my wife might get mad if we put a business out there as a treat, but I'll put it out.
Don't put a business out. Don't put a business.
My wife has a hormonal imbalance.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how her body operates. My son being born, her getting pregnant with him, was a surprise to both of us because she wasn't supposed to be able to get pregnant. And ever since then, she don't have consistent periods.
Ooh.
Like she can go months without a period, or she can go months with a period. And so if I, as her husband, am not understanding of that, is that me filling my role as her husband and being considerate and understanding? Or if I'm like, if I start throwing a hissy fit about it, and you know, is that me being selfish and not understanding and me not filling my role?
No, that's not. And I get it. I get it.
Because now, if they in their 20s, there ain't no excuse. Or if they don't have no situation like that, they ain't reached that point in their life. But you know, hey, listen, when the closer a woman get to 40, you know, they get closer to menopause and they body start acting up real bad.
And I totally get that. I totally get that. I'm just from the nature of if I'm gonna use me. Case in point of me. I'm a high driver. I have a high one. High sex drive, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't understand what I'm talking about.
I was about to say, man, just say it with your chest, man. Stop trying to.
My bad. We talking to adults. We talking to adults. Okay. I couldn't be with someone who is not going to give themselves to me like I would like them to give themselves to me. Now, I'm not talking every night. I get it. I'm older myself. I get it. But when my desire for that person, and because I am only desire, and you want me to only to desire you, I can't go 1, 2, 3 weeks without being intimate. Now we can have some intimacy, holding, kissing, rubbing feet. We can do all the intimacy parts as well too. I you know what I'm saying, hey, you just want your feet rubbed tonight? Got your feet rubbed. Want you know what I'm saying? Want me to hold you and just cradle, you know what I'm saying? Play big spoon, you be little spoon, or do a reverse, I be little spoon, you be big spoon. We can do that. But there is no picture in my mind that would say, hey, here is 7 days and I haven't had intimate dealings with you. And if it gets to that point, I've always said, I will walk away. Before I cheat on you, I'll leave. Because that's one of my non-negotiables. And I get it. Health reason why you're sick. Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna force that. But if it comes to the point to where here it is 2-3 weeks and I haven't touched my woman, but you want me to behave and just only give you the emotional support that you need, well, I need that physical support. If you want me to remain a person that only desires you.
So you telling me, hold on. I'll let you talk. So, because I'm going to hold you to the fire right now.
Hold me.
So you telling me that you with a woman that you absolutely love, adore, and care about, and she get really sick. I'm talking really sick. Are you saying that she got 2 to 3 weeks to get better?
What I'm saying is, if it get to the point where she's got a, and I know I'm finna get beat up for this, but this is just me. If she gets to the point to where she has a severe illness, I will probably says, hey, I'm going to be there for you, but we might need to get a divorce, and I will remain that person of confidence for you. Be there to help you, be there to help take care of you, be there to help do everything that you need me to do. But I don't think that I can, for me, be there and be like, I can't touch my wife, my love of my life ever again. I just have to sit there. And I've played this through my head a million times. Hey, what if your partner that you with becomes a quadriplegic? It can't move. It can't do nothing. I've played that in my mind. What would I do? And each time, the scenario went that way. You know what I'm saying? I'll help. I'll be the one that'll come get you. I'll wash. I'll do all that. But I know that I myself, I like to have intercourse, and I could not stop and say I could never do that again because I'm just with this one person.
Do you want the do you want the Coach Robinson answer right now?
Oh, I know you could give it to me, but I'm just telling you who I am.
Okay.
And people have has given it to me because I have voiced this a lot of times.
Well, my response is you don't ever need to get married. And if I were you, I wouldn't entertain anybody from a serious standpoint. And the reason why I say that is because you would set up false connections. Because it would lead to a dead end. Because and you know me and you are boys, so
yeah.
I mean this with the utmost respect.
Oh
With
yeah,
no
oh yeah.
disrespect intended.
Oh yeah.
That mentality is entirely too selfish for any sort of significant relationship.
Yes. And I understand that.
And I could never advise you to go into any serious relationship because you would be doing a disservice to that woman because that would you would essentially, you know what they say, like, you got one foot out the door.
Mm-hmm.
You would essentially have one foot out the door before the relationship even began, because you know at some point, God gonna test you. God gonna test that love
Yeah.
that you have for
Yeah.
someone. And
Yeah.
it's gonna be in a way that makes you feel the most uncomfortable.
But Juan, what we have learned in the evolution of woman is that love is a choice. I choose to love you. She chooses to love me. We see that women have left marriages for less and celebrated because she chose to love herself. And so, why is it when I choose me, that's the kind of pushback I get? Now, maybe if marriages is what they once was, maybe I have a different outlook. But we understand now that marriages are not what they once was. It don't matter how much you love a woman, and this is, you know what I'm saying, like my coworker at work says, I'm president of the Alfalfa He-Man Woman Hate Club. but but today's outlook on relationship is not really a traditional process. So you either adapt or you lose out. I'm adapting because they adapted. And so
No. Yeah, see, nah, we got to be accountable here. Nah, we talk about
yeah,
accountability. We're gonna be
yeah,
accountable. The reason why that relationships are the way that they are is because men are not leaders in relationships.
you can and this is where me and Coach Robinson gonna always disagree, because
Men are
just
not
just
men
just
are
just
not
like
leaders.
women, just like women gonna always stand up for women, I am going to always stand up for men. And when they say that men are not leaders, that might be, you know what I'm saying, in some aspects that might be true. But in the significant more aspect, men are leaders. They're just choosing not to play the game to lose anymore. And that's where we've come to. That's why I subscribe to making sure you as a man, you have your finances and everything in order, and you have a prenup. That's why I subscribe to, as a man, if a woman shows you who she is, always walk away. If it's not what you want, I'm going to stand up for men. I'm going to uplift men, because it's time for us men to have a leaning post. Yes, we hold each other accountable. Yes, hey, you need to hit the gym. You're getting too big. Hey, you need to get your finances together. Hey, you need to do what you need to do with your hygiene. We do that to one another. We
But that,
hold you accountable.
none of that makes you a good leader in a relationship. None
Yeah,
of that.
no,
And
no.
I'll be the first one to tell you, in my first marriage, which I lasted for 11 years, I
Mm-hmm.
was a shitty leader.
Yeah.
I didn't know it. I didn't know it because
Mm-hmm.
I was leading from a place of trauma, a
Mm-hmm.
place of desperation, a place of unbelief, a place of negativity, right?
Yeah.
Because I didn't do the work prior to getting married. And guess what? There's a lot of guys who are operating in the same way right? Because as you stated earlier, they were somebody's son husband early in their life, and
Yeah.
they've had all sorts of trauma and things that they've dealt with throughout their life that they never touched. They just kind of try to compartmentalize it. But then what happens is they get into these relationships, and those things that they learned as somebody's son husband shows up as somebody's husband. And
Yeah.
it just doesn't work. So
No, it doesn't.
it you have to recognize, and men like you and I have to convey to the younger generation that, as you stated, you don't need to get married early. You do need to focus on getting yourself in the gym, focus on getting your finances up, focus on becoming the best version of yourself, which includes getting therapy, right? So you can stop being somebody's son husband and learn to be somebody's husband. And when you learn to be somebody's husband, you learn how to lead properly in a relationship. I am a very different man in my second marriage than I was in my first marriage. And guess what? My wife leaving me is not something that I'm afraid of. Why? Because I show up every single day as the leader of the household. Now, granted, do I always get it right? No, because I'm human and things change, and you have to sometimes adjust on the fly. But from an overall perspective, I show up as the best version of myself. Like, how many times have I told you, I'm in the studio working on a book, working on this, working on that. Why? And my wife gets to see me doing that. She gets to see that I am taking steps to be better every single day. I'm out there in the yard working, even though my back be killing me, bro. My knees be on fire.
Oh yeah.
Cause I'm old. Hey, I got an old man body. But the one thing that I can't afford to do is I can't afford to be lazy at any point.
No.
Not for any extended period of time. I can't afford to, as we talked about, financial problems was number 5 on the list. Number 1 was commitment. Number 2 was infidelity, which is kind of the same thing. I don't know why they have the two
Separated, yeah.
like that. The other one was what was the other one? It was too much conflict, marrying too young, and financial problems. So what does that tell you? Number 1 and number 2 are the same thing. Number 3 is arguing too much, which could tie into number 5, which is financial problems. Marrying too young, it's not recommended because you ain't mature enough. So really, there is, if you exclude marrying too young and too much arguing, and you put 1 and 2 together, it's lack of commitment and financial problems. And why do financial problems become an issue? Is because more like, unless it's a situation where the woman is making more money than the man, which we obviously know that that's more prevalent in today's society than it ever was, but it's still not as significant as you would think, the way that they talk about it. Men are still making more money than women. But what oftentimes is men aren't making enough money, or they're not putting in enough effort to present the best life and the best option for their wife. So if you doing that, what does that mean? You being a shitty leader.
He said shitty leader.
And so that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
But we gotta,
yeah.
but we have to understand that like you said earlier, you know what I'm saying, is learning. There's no playbook for being a leader. Most leaders reinvent themselves time over and time over and time over again. And the reason why they do is because every experience and situation is not the same. So you must learn and adapt.
Yep.
All right. There's going to be more times that a man gets something wrong than he gets right. But again, like you said, he shows up. That's rule number one of being a leader. Not being afraid to show up. You must show up, because the problem is not going to go away if you don't show up or you just run away. If you close the door, when you open the door tomorrow, that problem going to still be there.
Yep.
So you have to show up, face that issue head on. All right. Now,
Can't have success without failures.
can't have success without failure. But I just want to say that when a man tries to, in these times, when a man tries to present himself and he tries to show up, not every man is going to be able to go out there and bring in all the money, because that's what we have in this country. That's what we have in this world. We have tiers. You have tiers. The man down here at the lower tier is not less of a man because, you know what I'm saying, he found himself being a janitor at the plant. But he shows up religiously. He cleans them floors with the best of his ability. He takes pride in it. He shows that, and he shows up every day. That don't make him less of a man, because his paycheck says he's only making $42,000 in a year. And I don't care what nobody says, in this society today, a lot of men are only looked at as being men because of the size of their paycheck. And they're considered not being a man because how lower the paycheck. That's one of the reasons you have a lot of guys, because the guys at the bottom are saying, hey, I work hard. I do everything right. I don't steal. I don't cheat. I give everything to me. I even try to help other young men. But my paycheck only says that I got $42,000. I don't deserve love. I don't deserve a chance to be a man.
Let's give context. Let's give context, right?
Mm-hmm.
How old are you?
I'm 48.
48-year-old Big G.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you have 10-year-old daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Is 48-year-old Big G gonna be working at Burger King or McDonald's?
Not Big G.
Why
But
not?
my friend.
What? Hold on. Wait. Why not?
The reason why for me is because of how I position myself as a younger Big G.
No. Why would Big G not be working at McDonald's at 48 years old?
I would.
With a 10-year-old daughter at home and a wife?
If that's what I needed to do to provide for my family, I would. I did. Matter of fact, when we was here together at Scott and we had one of the first one of the second shutdowns in 2012 when they shut down, and you remember us at the fact, and we was gone for like 4 months. Where was Big G at? I was at McDonald's on Greenmount Road flipping burgers. Cause you want to know why? Hold on, for tell you. Cause you want to know why? Because I sat there and I told myself, I said, I'd rather take a little bit of something than a whole lot of nothing. And people laughed. There was a couple of people from the base who came in there and saw me back in there flipping them burgers. I think I was like 30. I was 30, 12 years, you know what I'm saying? 2012, 34, whatever. But yeah, I did. Okay. I have no shame. I have no shame in good, hard, honest work.
Okay.
I'd rather do that than go out there in the streets.
Okay. I get that. But how long did you do it for?
I did it for 3.5 months.
Okay. Would that be a long-term solution at that age?
Like you say in context,
no, answer the question. Is that a long-term solution at that age? Would you recommend to another man that is at your age because here's the reason why I say that is because if you are in your 20s, if you're 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, whatever, that is more acceptable. Mm-hmm. Because why? It's just you by yourself. Now, granted, I get exactly where you're coming from, because when I retired and I didn't have a job and I was sending out applications, your boy was driving Uber.
Yeah.
But I was doing Uber and Lyft, but I was also doing Uber and Lyft 18 hours out of a 24-hour time period. Because I was like, nobody was really, calling for interviews or hiring. I was still putting in application. I think over that time period, I probably put in like 300 applications. I was putting in work, but in the meantime, in between time, I was doing that. But that was always gonna be a short-term thing.
Yeah, but look at what you and I, because of what we did in our younger age, position ourselves. Not every man was given the opportunities, work, however you want to put it. Not every man is in that position to do that. You have some men who you have some men who's coming home from doing a jail sentence.
Hey, Big G, we can't make excuses for people.
No.
If you coming home from doing a jail sentence, that's on you. That means you made stupid decisions. Right,
but you're speaking from saying like nothing has happened. I'm speaking from the side of it happens. Things like that happens.
Okay, so, but look. Remember what I just told you? I told you I was driving Uber for 18 hours out of the day.
Yes.
So if you only working at McDonald's for your little 8 hours and you ain't doing nothing else, because you can still get out there and drive. You can still pick up another job. Like that. The thing we can't do is we can't make excuses for men. Because here's the thing, right? We have to make sure that we don't coddle them and that we educate them that you have a responsibility to the people that are in your life. And if you are by yourself, you can get away with more, right? Because it's just you. Most guys, we're comfortable in a studio apartment with a TV, a PlayStation, and maybe 1 or 2 pots. But if you have responsibilities to other people in your life, you have no room for excuses. You have to.
But it's not excuses.
Hold on, you have to get out there and get it however you can get it.
Mm-hmm. But it's not an excuse. I'm speaking about reality. Excuse is when we're trying to alter reality to say woulda, coulda, shoulda. Reality is that not everybody's going to have a high functioning, high paying job.
Nobody said that you had to.
Hold on. Not everybody is going to go to school. Not everybody is going to pick up a trade. That's why you have these jobs. You know what I'm saying? And so what I'm saying is, you know what I'm saying? If you're not going to do these things, go to school, pick up your trade, join the military, do whatever. Don't be saying you deserve something higher when you haven't did what you need to do or whatever to get yourself. If you're comfortable being here, this is where you're going to be.
But then you can't complain.
Yeah,
you can't complain when you get left by a woman who wants more.
Okay, and here is the fact about, yes, she wants more, but what if she's not worthy of more?
Then why are you with her?
We can want because she's on my level.
Because
she's on my level. If I'm a low tier man and she's a low tier woman, she's on my level.
Listen,
I'm dating on my level.
That makes no sense. Like, listen, you as a man have to always continue to elevate. You get no excuses. Like,
and see, that's the problem.
If you working at McDonald's,
okay.
If you working at McDonald's and you only get 8 hours out of the day, guess what?
Mm-hmm.
You still got a whole nother 16 hours that you could be doing something with. So guess what? Take your little $300 a week from McDonald's or $400 a week, and then drive for Uber or Lyft for 8 hours out of the day. That gives you 16 hours out of the day. Hold on, that's another $300 or $400 a day.
Mm-hmm.
So, trust me, I know how to drove Uber Lyft. You can make somewhere in between $100 to $300 a day. So if you do the math, that's $1,500 a week plus your little $300-$400 from McDonald's. You at like $2,000 a week.
Okay, and like I'm saying, that's what you would do. Okay, that's what you would do. But you got to. That's what I'm saying. There's levels. Like you have the billionaires, you have the millionaires, you have the people that's making the high six figures, low six figures. You got us guys in the middle class. There's always levels. So there's always going to be somebody at the lowest level.
Yeah, because they lazy.
No, that's not because of labor. That's just because of how the socioeconomic statute has. There's always going to be somebody at the bottom. Just like there's the bottom of the food chain. The gazelle is never gonna overtake the lion in the food chain. We have an economic food chain.
Don't mean the gazelle can't outrun the lion.
And he can. But at the end of the day, he's still at the bottom of the food chain. If there's no bottom, we're not gonna have jobs. And that's what's gonna happen. The bottom finna get kicked out with this AI and automatic stuff, and it's gonna show you that we're finna create a new bottom. The new bottom is gonna be those guys who's making $50,000-$60,000.
Okay, and guess what that means? You just adjust. So
if there's nothing to adjust from, if the AI and these places here are taking all the jobs, that means non-human is going to be running the things. You're not going to be able to adjust.
Let me give you an example. My own personal life.
Mm-hmm.
on my way to retirement,
Mm-hmm.
I was good with making whatever I was making. I think I was at this point in time, I was making probably like 69,000, 70,000, 70, somewhere between 65 and 75,000.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was all I ever knew, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't until somebody educated me, which is what I'm saying. You and I have a responsibility to do. We cannot make excuses for people. We can educate and say, hey, you know, if you get your bachelor's degree, it opens up more opportunities. If you get your master's degree, guess what? That opens up more opportunity. If you learn a trade, that could open up some opportunities for you. You know, if you work 16 hours, 18 hours a day and just stack bread, it could open up opportunities for you. For me, I was in a position to where I could get my bachelor's degree. I could get my master's degree. And you know what? I did. And guess what? When I retired, I had people who were off. The reason why it took me so damn long to get a job is because I had people offer me $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 for me having 22 years of experience, a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, leadership qualities, and a top secret clearance. What the hell are you thinking? No, absolutely not. I will work my ass off driving this Uber until I can't freaking sleep anymore because my sleep patterns are off until I get to that number that I need to be at. But had I not been educated on that, I would have retired and went on to be a high school football teacher making $50,000 a year because I didn't know any better. I didn't really know or understand that opportunities like that to make more money was open for me.
But you missed it. That was your passion to do that.
It's not
that
a passion, it's a responsibility.
Okay, that's however you feel it. That was your thought process to do that. For the guy, like I'm saying, the guy who's janitor, who wakes up and he enjoys being a janitor. He's good at being a janitor. He's damn near appointed. He can walk in, know the stain, know what's cleaning solution, pop, clean it up and get to moving. Hey, that's him. We cannot, as a world today, as a society today, just says, hey, do better.
Oh,
if
absolutely. No, absolutely we can. Okay. And here's the reason why I say that. It's because if said janitor is by himself, go on, bro. Live your life. Do what you can. Whatever that, if you making 40,000 and that 40,000 is good enough for you, go do you, boo. Right? But you add a wife. Guess what comes with that wife? Comes
a role as a helpmate. A role as a helpmate.
I get that. But you still have, Adam still had responsibilities, and the whole reason they got kicked out of the garden is because Adam didn't handle his responsibilities.
No, nobody's not saying that these people are not gonna take care of their responsibilities.
But when you start adding pieces to your life, guess what happens? That 40,000 starts to become not enough. Because as you know, you can still probably get away with it when it's just you and a missus. But then you start adding in children. And you know that if your wife don't stay home, daycare is ridiculously expensive. Diapers are ridiculously expensive. Having a child is ridiculously expensive, and we got to look at it from a standpoint to where we got to look at it from the standpoint of outside of ourselves, right? Because we work for the government, so we got benefits. Not everybody got those. Everybody got those same benefits, and if they do have those same benefits, they have to pay for said benefits, and a lot of these things add up. So guess what happens to that guy, even though he is happily satisfied being a janitor, making $40,000 a year, that $40,000 a year is no longer enough to sustain a family. And so that responsibility is on him to figure it out. And we cannot. Hold on, let me finish. We cannot, as men who have elevated ourselves, say to that young man that, oh no, you should be good making $40,000. It's gotta be, nah, bro, you have a responsibility to take care of your family, so you have to figure it out. Whatever that looks like for you, you gotta figure it out.
Okay, now I get it. That was the conversation of a traditional relationship from back in the day when everything we got and Coach Juan, for you and I say this, we're going to have to realize that we cannot have the foundational traditional ideas in this modern new age way. That's the problem.
How is that applicable?
No, it's applicable because we're trying to, as men, wanting to take on the battle of talking about tradition when we're not in a traditional game anymore.
Explain.
Because because they're wanting us to uphold tradition while moving into new modern heights as women. And so everything falls on the man as they become more independent. We're not in a traditional game anymore. That's why we are so-called losing the gender war, because we're allowing them to Donald Trump us, make us feel like what we're doing needs to remain the same while they do other things. You play the game on the level in which the game is. That's one thing I do respect about the new younger brother who's coming up. He's not falling into, okay, I'm going to remain traditional and keep tradition, and I just supposed to sit back and be like, okay, yeah, you do whatever you want to do. So he is basically saying to himself and to the world is, I'll rather fall back from this here, allow you to do whatever, because two things is going to happen. If I'm a handsome enough man, I'm still going to get what I want from you anyway without the commitment. And second, if I'm a wealthy enough man, I'm definitely going to get what I want from you without the commitment. So this is the new game. If you're not going to uphold your traditional aspects, I'm not going to uphold mine. And then I'm still going to get from you what I need because I'm either handsome enough or I got the money.
Okay, so how does that apply to me? Because
I didn't say you.
Hold on, no. I'm not saying that you said that, but the reason why I say that is because I was neither handsome nor did I have money. So
you had charisma.
No, I didn't have charisma. What I had was I had a vision.
Mm-hmm.
I had a plan.
Well, you might have been handsome. You might have been handsome to your wife. You might have been handsome to your wife.
No,
She
hey,
probably
listen,
thought that
hey,
you was
listen,
handsome.
listen. My wife will tell you that the most attractive thing about me was that I was stable. And listen, and when I met my wife was whoo. She can get it. If we dropped her off in the U.S. by herself, she wouldn't be single for very long. But the thing that I tell you is that my wife will tell you if you ask her.
Mm-hmm.
After our first date, she did not want to see me again. And it wasn't because I was not attractive to her or that I did something wrong. It was actually that I did something right.
Mm-hmm.
And what I did right scared her.
Mm-hmm.
Because what she saw was a man who had a vision, a plan, and that was stable. I didn't have a lot of money,
Mm-hmm.
but I was stable.
Stable.
And what she knew in that moment, that if
Mm-hmm.
she were to pursue a relationship with me, she was going to have to change and she was going to have to elevate
Mm-hmm.
in order to come up to my level. And so the reason why I say that is because a lot of men don't operate like that. They don't operate like that to where when they get around a woman,
Mm-hmm.
they have gotten themselves together. Like we said, right? You work on your fitness because I was working out at that time. You work on your money. I didn't have a lot of opportunity to make a lot of money, but the money that I had, I was doing good with it.
Mm-hmm.
And you work on yourself. I had already done some therapy. I was divorced. I was, working on myself. I was living the best life that I could in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So she knew that even though she was little miss independent, as Neo likes to say, she had her own. She was taking care of herself. She off of first date, she recognized, this dude, he moved different. He
Mm-hmm.
operate different.
Mm-hmm.
And so, although she was scared, she was like, I got to have it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I told you, like, after 2 months of her really getting to see how I move and operate, she was like, yeah, you gonna be my husband. And I was like, the hell I am. Because I was not interested in being nobody's husband at that point in time. And so that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that guys are the gateway to relationship. We know women are the gateway to sex.
Mm-hmm.
So if relationships are falling apart, if relationships aren't even happening,
Mm-hmm.
that's because it is my belief that there is a failure on men to hold themselves to the highest standard. Now, by you holding yourself to the highest standard and you operating from and it starts early on, right? Because we got to educate the young bucks, right? Before they go out there and they make them mistakes, as you say, that they end up 40 years old working at McDonald's. Educate them on what they need to do so that they can position themselves so that when a woman comes into their life, she realizes, like the woman, not a woman, but the woman that comes into their life, she recognizes that, oh shit, if I'm gonna get with him, I got to elevate my game. I got to come up to his level. And oftentimes what that really means is a maturity standpoint. Because let's be real, let's keep it a buck. It's a lot of 30-year-old sometimes 40-year-old women who out here that ain't really mature because
Yeah,
they
yeah.
ain't met no man that requires that of them.
Mm-hmm. And
But you got to be a good leader in order to make that requirement.
and you give a valid good point, and that's like I'm saying, that's how you believe. And like once again, I believe that relationships are failing somewhere similar to close. I believe because what I'm seeing is men under 40 in their 30s are divesting from relationship. It's not about being leaders. It's not about being that. They're divesting because they're seeing how the game is played, how the game is anything, you know what I'm saying? Because right now, the game is a woman can walk away from you at any time. She can take half, or she can have control over your kids, or she could. So men are seeing all these aspects of how a relationship has been rounded now, and they're deciding to walk away. Is that failure? You could say it is. If you're walking away from something, it is. But they're saying that I am not getting myself into a situation to where on a feeling it can all come crashing down. Because I've said it once, I've said it twice, I've said it a million times. A woman will burn the house down, relationship wise or anything, over how she feels. She will give up her young over how she feels. She will sacrifice her young over how she feels. So if it just take a feeling, these young cats are seeing that they are wisening up. They're seeing that, damn, it can all come crashing down over how someone feels. And where does that leave me?
I'm not arguing with that because guess what? Number 3 on the list was they get married too young.
Yeah.
And who are the women that are operating in their feelings the most? The youngins.
But now we got the old ones out there clocking tea and doing this young girl stuff.
That, like I said, they not mature. They not mature. Which, hold on, I'm glad you said that because I want to show you this picture real fast. Your thoughts?
Read it out to me. I ain't got my contacts in too
Okay,
too
it
good
says
tonight.
too far or nah. A woman said she reported her immigrant boyfriend to ICE after finding out he cheated on her with one of her friends. Operating in your feelings. You mess somebody's life up.
Yeah. I'm with the young boy. After reading that, I'm with the young boys. Now I'm with the young buddies. She called ICE on that.
Not only did she have my man deported, had him thrown into an ICE detention facility for cheating. And guess what? Not even married.
Not even married.
And a simple boyfriend where you could just leave and go get you another one.
Yeah.
It's not even that serious.
Hey, but I just seen today A young girl, dude was trying to do the respectful thing. Tell a young lady, hey, I don't think we moving in the right direction. And I want to just walk away from this relationship. She got mad and stabbed him like 12 times in the chest. Young girl, like 19. And so now she's going to court and the judge is having problems or is pondering what kind of sentence. She killed the man because he wanted to break up with her. What you mean you pondering? If that was the role reverse, woman wanted to break up with man, he kills her. He getting the book throwed at him.
And on that note, and I think we're gonna leave it on this. I would argue that a lot of the reason that men are walking away from relationships nowadays, as you pointed out, which is all in all a true fact, is because they are getting failed by the justice system and the family court system. And I think that those two things are the reason why a portion of women act the way that they act. Because there's an outlet for them. There's an out for them.
Mm-hmm. All right, baby, let's get ready to wrap this thing up, my boy. Hey, we had a good one tonight, baby. We had a good one.
Oh, yeah. Like some confrontation in there. So a little bit of arguing. It was a good conversation.
Yeah, good conversation. And that's how it's supposed to be. We able to converse, talk about it. We're not always going to be going to agree, but you know what I'm saying. We talk it out, and hey, and that's how it ends.
Yeah, that's what two men are supposed to be able to do, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Big G, let them know where they can find you.
Why is it Smart 22? Why is it Smart 22? Hey, dropping every week. Wednesday Isms. Hey, this week Wednesday Ism, male sensitivity. It was a doozy. If you ain't a friend, get a friend, become a friend, and check out male sensitivity.
All right, yeah, that's Wise and Smart 22 on Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram at Relationship Talk with Juanito. You can follow me on TikTok at Relationship Talk with WIT, the number 1 NITO. On TikTok. You can also catch me out on Facebook, any other platforms with the exception of X, because I don't really be on there like that.
Don't do that one.
Yeah, so
X is turned into Pornhub, if you notice.
You said it, not me. You said it, not me. So with that being said, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. You hit the pin notifications so that you're notified when we go live every week, and make sure that you share with somebody who needs this information. And look out for the clips. They be coming out twice a day. Good
clips.
Get on there, comment, whether you agree, you disagree, you hate, you don't hate, you like, you dislike, whatever. We don't care. You know, just get in there, drop your thoughts, and for the love of Jesus, use punctuation.
I knew you were gonna say something about that.
Cause Lord have mercy. Did you see that? Did you see that on that video on Facebook? Girl wrote me a whole paragraph.
Yes,
not a single period. And I didn't understand. Run on paragraph, bro. I didn't understand what she was saying. So please use your punctuation so I can understand what you're saying. Because 9 out of 10 times I'll be the one responding to you from the Relationship Talk social media. So with that being said, go ahead. You got something?
Hey, I was just finna say, these clips here gonna be a good one.
Oh yeah.
Tonight's clip's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, so with that being said, I am Coach Juan Robinson. That is Big G. always remember to
Like,
no, I said
comment.
that already. Align your always remember to align your life, lead with purpose, and put God first. With that being said, y'all have a good night.